very short and just
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular meeting of the Wilson County Commissioners Court. Today's date is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. It's 9 o'clock a.m. The minutes reflect that we have a quorum with the full board present. Before we begin, we're going to have our prayer by Elder Brown from the Wilson County Seventh-day Adventist, and then we'll have our collections. Elder.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege we have of your company. Thank you for bringing each one of us here safely. For your life care over us and for the many blessings. Again, we want to thank you and praise you for all that you've done. Guide and direct the proceedings here. We ask for your Holy Spirit to be here. Be with each one. Your guiding hand will be on the decisions made. Again, we thank you for bringing those that are ill here. Thank you for bringing us up, waking us up another day that we will serve you. We ask again that you will provide the rain we much most needed. Thank you and praise you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Move to agenda item number 3 and open comments. So we have courtroom. We have the courtroom rules that will allow 5 minutes before we're third altogether. So keep in mind, there'll be a counter or timer up there. Just keep looking at it. That side will let you know when they're getting close to 5 minutes.
Can they turn the volume up?
Yes, everybody, please, because we have a little more systems and the new ones coming in next month. All right, our first person to come up to the podium is Rochelle Rackman. Ms. Rackman? Yep. Please identify yourself.
Good morning, I'm Rochelle Rackman.
Thank you.
So we're looking at bringing on down on cryptocurrency to Wilson County. I'm an engineer, I'm a rancher, and I've been here for 30 years. And I want to know what studies you guys have done. You think there's 1 million gallons of water every other day. And I don't care who's told you they don't, and I don't care who's told you that it can be recycled. It cannot. I build power plants for a living. I have built a lot of water recirculation. The water gets basically an antifreeze put in it, and then when they have to dump the water out, it's no longer any good. So now we have to have an injection well that may impact our water system yet again. Have you guys looked at that?
And I forgot to tell you some other rules. We don't respond to public comments. That's part of the rules.
Well, fine, then I'll just keep asking, and then maybe sometime you guys will respond. Also, they submitted an economic study in the package that they submitted. And I can't find where you guys have done your fiduciary responsibility and had anyone evaluate that economic study. Because having financed and done large-scale, hundreds of million-dollar projects, I can tell you that what is submitted may not be what is actually true. So we need an economic study done on whatever they submitted. So how many data centers are you guys planning? And what gave you the authority to actually agree to this without asking the people of this county about it? This is going to impact every rancher and every farmer and every person in this county. And you guys actually think you have the authority to agree to this without coming for a vote or a question? The Stockdale School District wanted a solar farm. I highly oppose that. I've built solar farms before. They cause lots of environmental problems. But the Stockdale School District wanted it and said, oh, it'll solve all of our problems. Why is there a bond issuance to the Stockdale School District on this voting cycle if it solves all their economic problems? The people of this county deserve better than we deserve to live like we came to this county, quietly and farmers and ranchers and family people. We do not deserve to become the industrial backside of Texas because we don't have the fortitude to stand up and say, no, no, not in this county. And our prayer, as the person who led us in prayer said, we don't have enough water. I'm not using any of my irrigation wells at my ranch because I don't think that the water table can take it. Where are you going to get the water from this? It's not here. It's not in the aquifer. It's going to impact every person who either has a house or ranches, and last, the electrical usage. Those solar farms are not going to support the electrical usage of these data centers. It's not going to happen. And so they're going to come to our electrical grid, which is already overtaxed because the population growth in Wilson County has been fairly astronomical. So what? Are we going to be like Maine, where the data centers says that they're going to bring their own electrical unless they can, and that they were willing to pay 2,000 times more for electricity than what it was costing the people? And people are now paying approximately $1,900 a month in Maine for electricity. Did you guys research any of this? Did you go to Wyoming where they built the first data center? Meta built the first data center 28 years ago in Wyoming. Why do I know that? Because I was hired to come and build a standalone propane-powered Lawrenceville power plant for a small town because the data centers took all of the electricity available. Did any of you Google data centers before you got involved in this? That's my time.
Thank you, Ken.
Ms. Lori Dawn, Missouri? Okay, good.
You have to shout for it.
No, yeah.
Not working?
Okay, the mic's not on it.
Everybody, let her speak up. Go ahead.
All right. Commissioner, Judge, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Lori Dawn Missouri. I'm a resident of Wilson County, and I stand here with many others who care deeply about our water, our land, our air, and our small town way of life. I understand this item is not on the agenda today, and I'm not requesting action at this time. We have circulated a petition requesting the adoption of specific guardrails regarding large-scale industrial energy and data infrastructure development in Wilson County. In just 4.5 days, we have received 1,421 online submissions. As of today, I looked and there were 1,500 online submissions. After removing duplicate entries and filtering to verified Wilson County core zip codes, there were 1,385 verified Wilson County residents and landowners remain. In addition, we are collecting handwritten signatures. We are continuing to collect signatures, and the totals provided today reflect verified online submissions as of Sunday afternoon. I am formally submitting this petition and respectfully requesting that it be placed on a future agenda so that the court may consider the proposed guardrails outlined within it. We understand that growth is coming. We're not against growth. We actually want businesses to come to Wilson County and to stop that. We are asking that it be evaluated thoroughly before irreversible decisions are made. The proposed large-scale industrial development, including data centers and utility-scale energy projects, carry significant long-term implications for our aquifer, our air quality, our infrastructure, emergency services, and fiscal stability. Water usage, grid demand, road impact, fire response capacity, and long-term environmental considerations deserve careful public review. This is not about creating conflict. It is about asking careful questions before long-term decisions are made. We respectfully ask this court to ensure full transparency, comprehensive independent water, air, and land impact analysis conducted and made publicly available, clear coordination with emergency services, and that the long-term interests of Wilson County residents remain the priority here. I am submitting copies of the petition so each of you may review the specific guardrails being requested by your constituents. We just want to make sure we get this right. This is going to be here for 80 years. This one thing that's there. There are others coming in or trying to. Wilson County is worth protecting, and the people in this room demonstrate that. Thank you.
Bring it on. Okay, everyone, you know, we have that 30-minute limit. We're probably going to go beyond that. We have 5 minutes. We have a lot of people who signed up for 30 minutes. I can stop it. And could please go to 10 minutes. I keep you within that 5 minutes. We really appreciate that. This is Segovia, Debbie Segovia.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Debbie Segovia. I live in the northern part of Wilson County. We've lived out here since 2003, but we're property owners since 1999. I am talking to you today about item number 8, which I understand is being introduced later, about amending the tax abatement policy that Wilson County uses. I would ask that before considering approving a tax abatement, special consideration should be given to local resources affected by the company that is asking for the tax abatement, and for the consideration should be given for long-term jobs versus short-term. In the case of the data center that's being proposed, those jobs that were promised by the company, those are short-term jobs. Those are construction jobs, and when construction's done, maybe a handful of people, local people, will be employed by the company. It doesn't take very many people to run a data center. I also want to acknowledge that Wilson County Commissioners Court can't say yay or nay to a business. Your hands are tied as far as zoning, because counties don't have any zoning authority. However, there are tools in your toolbox that you can use to make it a little harder for companies like this to just come in and what essentially assaults the land, because that's what's going to happen. Perspective on this. We built our home here more than 23 years ago. We started paying full taxes on our property from the get-go. But we employed 2 people over those years, 23 years. One to maintain our acreage, the other to help clean house because we both commuted to San Antonio. We didn't get a tax abatement. Businesses should not get 10-year tax abatements. It's not fair to the citizens. Y'all are losing tax revenue by doing that, and the promises that they make don't amount to anything as far as jobs. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Sandra Reed.
Good morning, I'm Cambria Reed, and thank you, elected Wilson County officials, for allowing me to voice my concerns. Like I said, I'm Cambria Reed, a resident of Wilson County, property owner and county advocate. I'm a retired Texas public school educator of 42 years, of which 32 years were spent here teaching in Wilson County. Many of the people that are up there were my former students, or are my former students. I volunteer on many Wilson County nonprofit organizations and our boards. I was a member of the Wilson County Water Action Project, and we fought to fight the Cibolo Creek Reservoir, which we won. Wilson County Beautification Association, Wilson County Historical Society, Wilson County Junior Historian Club sponsor. I serve as the Wilson County Historic Commissioner, and I'm with the Sutherland Springs Community Association Incorporated and the Sutherland Springs Historical Museum. In fact, when I was born, my mother took me to the little stucco house right after I was born on 13th Street in Old Town Sutherland Springs, which it still stands. And even though I've moved back and forth, I have been here permanently as a resident and land owner since 1987. Like Lori said, I'm not here today to get answers today, but just to voice my concerns, and hopefully they will be addressed later, at a later date. The people of Wilson County deserve to know our county government, Evergreen Underground Water District, state, federal, governmental agencies will help protect our water, soil, air, and community infrastructure from pollution. So our residents will continue to enjoy night skies without the interruption of industrial light pollution, hear the creatures of the night without the hum of giant generators, industrial generators, and benefit from the clean and safe environment of our rural lifestyle. And yes, I understand we're kind of sub-rural now. My specific questions are, how many acre-feet of water will the Mesilla Moho Data Center and Solar Complex use daily and annually? What is the plan to safely dispose of the contaminated data center wastewater? Has Mesilla Moho registered their existing ag water wells with the Evergreen Underground Water District as industrial? And how will this data center benefit our county? Growth is inevitable. We all want to see growth, but we all want it to be managed responsibly. I'm here advocating for our rural lifestyle. In Wilson County, as I have walked along the Cibolo Creek and hunted and fished in the creek, gardened along the creek banks, and embraced the local history, I want that same for future generations. So please help us make responsible decisions and guidelines for the company that's coming in. Thank you.
Susan Christie.
will get the sign. Judge, Commissioners, I'm Susan Forrest Christie. I'm here today just to make a quick comment. This is just the beginning. What you plan for the room of people coming is a drop in the bucket. What you will see in the future, every time this data center comes on the agenda, you're going to see a tsunami. Please plan differently. Please listen more distinctly and diligently than you ever have. Thank you.
Monica Ford.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, and all others that are present to help us through this particular morning. I am Monica Forrest. I am from Floresville, longtime resident. I will not tell you how long. However, it counts. I want to first thank you all again for just hearing all of us. I'm sure there's a lot more to be said, but we've had significant things that have already been told to you, and I want to say ditto. I am a very long-time resident. I am a landowner and a rancher and many other things, and have been involved in city and county issues that have been around. I too have been with Henry and many others that fought that Civil Reservoir issue with San Antonio, many other projects that have gone on. And it's just about protecting our county and those surrounding us. I am a real believer in taking care of this land, this wonderful city, wonderful county that we live in. We've worked hard for it, and we want to maintain that. So I would just ask of you to really give it a lot of thought. I'm concerned about water resources, the things that have already been mentioned, about the noise issue, about the reclamation of water and clean water. My range, I am every day praying over it because of the drought and just hoping that ends will meet and my well doesn't go out. So we are already facing that issue. I'm not the only one. Anybody who's in this area is suffering from that drought. The abatement, concerned about also that we're seemingly too quick to say, please come in. I too want economic growth, but I want it safe, clean, and beneficial to many of us, if not all of us. So please consider those kinds of things that come along. I pay taxes every year, and every year it seems like I have more and more restrictions on my property, and I would love an abatement on mine. So just consider and be very careful about that in the future with many of these businesses that are coming in. And I hope that you will continue to do your research, as I know you started on it, and I'm just asking you to extend that and do anything you can to help us on this situation. I would truly appreciate it. Thank you for your time this morning.
Not sure I can read the last name. It's Lena Selby. Is that right?
Right.
Hi, Judge Whitman. My name is Lena Selby. I am a recent resident of 15 years. There we go. To Wilson County. My husband and I recently purchased about 40 acres out in Sutherland Springs and Stockville. Yes, the road divides us. So we're in both places. I came today just to talk about this. We are a con orchard. And I'm hard-pressed to figure out how, when SS Water, I don't think they go to Sutherland Springs today, SS Water called in last week, freeze, and said don't drip. And then I find out they can take up to 1.7 billion gallons. Who's going to regulate that over the years? Do my pecan trees stand a chance? I just have questions. We also raise goats. So where's the water going to come from for that? So as you can see, my main concern is water. But I'm also concerned about the air quality. I haven't seen anything put out. I have heard that the data center emits formaldehyde. I don't know if that's true or not. I would really like for you guys to look into that, because a person with an autoimmune disease doesn't do well on formaldehyde. So my concern is the water and the air quality, and making sure that we have water to drink and water for the animals and water for my trees. And beyond that, I thank you for your time, and I'd just like for you to look at this seriously. And before you make decisions, have all the answers, because we all know how companies are. Companies make promises that they don't keep. So, thank you so much, and that's all I have to say.
First, I'd like to thank our elected officials for letting us speak today. What was your last name, sir? Legier. Your L-G-T-E-R-E? Thank you. Thank you. I know our power here is limited in what we can control that goes on in the state of Centerville. But if you notice on what I've handed you, the first few pages are some of the things that other locations have found problems with as far as fire problems with their battery storage systems. But there's an alternative that they have not considered. Sand batteries. What this is you pump heat into giant banks of sand, and you have pipes running through this sand. And these piles of sand, or tanks of sand, can reach up to 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. That heat can be used to produce steam to run turbines. There's no chance of fire. There are no chemicals involved. It's simply steam. And after that steam runs through a turbine, it recondenses, you run it back through the system, you heat it, and back into steam. It's a closed cycle. It gets rid of most of the pollution issues that you would face in any system. And it's much cheaper to build out. It should save money when they're built. Which means they can use that money, put in more solar, to produce an excess of energy that can be fed into the grid. The better solution than these other systems that they're looking at, the lithium batteries, all the fire risk chemicals, you get one fire going, all that goes into the air. They start trying to put that out, it ends up in the water table. This is not something we want to see. So you've got a solution there that gets rid of all those hazards. It's a pile of sand with metal pipes running through it, and that is your energy storage system. That's it. It is a much simpler system that essentially lasts forever. No replacements. That's all I want to say. You have a better, non-polluting system. That's all the time I'm going to take.
Sarah Wilson.
I'm coming. Good morning. My name is Sarah Barbosa. I live here in Floresville, and I've only been here since 2022. And in fact, I can guarantee that some of you have not only been in my property, but in my house. I purchased my home from Howard Berger. He has been a long-time resident here and was an attorney. We turned this property into a sustainable, regenerative, organic farm. We have an orchard, we grow crops, we raise livestock. I teach through UIW. I received NCAT awards and USDA grants. What I am here to say is, please listen. This room will remember your name. This is your legacy. This is our legacy, our children's legacy. I fight every day to educate children, both high school And I have 20 years. Despite how old I look, I have 20 years working in conservation. And when I tell you this will destroy our land, our water, and our air, I assure you this is not being dramatic. This is the reality of it. And what you are asking, if this passes, is us to idly stand by while you sign our death certificate. This is unacceptable. And for us, these people, I mean, look at these faces, please. I mean, I'm not trying to be, but folks, remember these names on these placards. If this happens, remember the names. Because when our farms go out, and that data center is still standing, whose data? Whose water? I mean, what town will we have left? The future of our town lays in your hands, and the foundation lays in ours. So please listen. Thank you.
Morning. My name is Zachary Platt, representative rancher and farmer right here in our community. For years I've worked in land using practices that build soil health, increase biodiversity, and capture every drop of the rain the almighty Father sends us. Because water is life. It nourishes the roots that hold our earth together, feeds the grasses that sustain our cattle, and cycles through the air and soil, and streams that support all creation. In regenerative ranching, we steward the land, not strip it. We rotate animals to mimic nature's rhythms, cover the soil to boost infiltration, and regenerate what we've been given. That's how we kept our land productive through droughts and floods. But the proposed Moho Ranch project takes without giving back, and that's not the renewable future they advertise. This is extraction, dressed as ecology, a corporate raid on our resources disguised as land regeneration. Here are the facts. This project will pull 1 to 2 million gallons of water every day from our regional Wilcox aquifer, the Data Coulee. That's 730 million gallons a year, straight from the ground that sustain our farms and ranches. The Texas Water Development Board groundwater availability model shows the aquifer has already gone down 50 to 200 feet in wells across the county since the 1980s from pumping for agricultural industry. Local recharge is just 0.5 to 2 inches per year, nowhere near enough to replace what they'll take. The regional sustainable yield hovers at 50,000 to 100,000 acre-feet annually. But this single site demand will exceed local replenishment, creating a drawdown cone that hits wells and streams within 1 to 3 miles. Water sustains life, and its extraction threatens the whole ecology. USGS studies on Gulf Coast aquifers document how heavy pumping compacts clays, causing subsidence up to 1 to 2 feet of land sinking over time, cracking our roads and farm infrastructure. It pulls in salt water from deeper layers, raising the TDS levels above EPA standards, and contaminating drinking water as it does in stressed coastal areas. Naturally occurring arsenic and nitrates from our soils will mobilize into the water table, harming the microbes and plants that regenerate healthy land. Base flow to Cibolo Creek and the Guadalupe River already contributes from this aquifer. Depletion means drier streams, fewer fish, and less resilient ecosystems for our wildlife and livestock. These effects snowball. Drier streams mean eroded riverbanks and invasive species takeover, as seen in USGS report on Texas coast aquifers, where 20 to 30% base flow loss has halved fish populations and double soil erosion rates. Lost habitat scatters pollinators, cutting crop yields by 10 to 20% on neighboring farms, per USDA data, forcing more land fallow and higher food prices for us all. We regenerative folks know ecology matters. Our practices focus on increasing organic matter. Increasing by just 1% equates to holding 25,000 more gallons of water per acre annually. Building resilience, not breaking. The Moho project clears 2,700 acres of native grassland disrupts habitats, and runs 24/7 with noise and light that scatter birds and pollinators. It's not stewardship, it's a takeover, turning shared water into private coolants while our ranchers deepen wells at $10,000 to $50,000 a pop and lose crops to shortages. Economically, Wilson County lives by agriculture. Our families are our heritage. This project doesn't build us up, it burdens us with dry land and higher costs, all for developers' profit. This is the Texas aquifer crisis unfolding on our doorstep. The TWDB project projects 10 to 20% recharge drops by 2050 from climate shifts and urban sprawl. Wilson County isn't isolated. Overpumping here feeds the same monster that dried Beeville wells and starved Central Texas farms, turning fertile land into dust bowls. We can't regenerate a dying land. This project locks us into decline, trading our heritage for fleeting tech profits while the real stewards, our soil and waters, pay the price. Council, protect our water as the life it is. Enforce a full, independent aquifer study impact through the DCD to quantify these risks. Mandate reclaimed wastewater or air cooling systems, no aquifer tapping permitted. Support local incentives for true renewables, like small-scale solar, on farms that boost soil health without extraction. Empower the community with transparent permitting and rebates for well upgrades. If these safeguards fail, deny the permits outright to honor our God-given role as stewards. Together we can regenerate Wilson County for generations. Thanks.
I think these fine people have already covered everything I wanted to say, but I stand with them completely. Thank you. And we stand with you.
Water, water, everywhere. Water near and far. Let's use our hands and feet to count how many times there are. Great vast oceans, tiny tears, soft clouds ripe with rain. Bubbles blowing, bursting pop. No wonder sweat refrains. Waterfalls with misty breath, whisper as they flow. Frozen water turns to ice and flakes on like snow. Sun-kissed meadows sparkle bright with early morning dew. There's even water in your bath, splashing over you. That's a children's book published by a company called Baby Einstein. And what I can tell you is a county that had 2 burn bans covering about half the year, and we're currently in a burn ban, might be lacking water. A lack of rain leads to lack of water. There's a strong correlation there. And it doesn't take Einstein's mind to understand that a data center that follows water and electricity to keep its servers cool should be built in South Texas. Operationally, it's a disaster from the get-go. Unless, of course, it has a helping hand of power from our state government that allows it. Considering that most of us here do what we can every day to make sure that sustainability is the thing. We pride ourselves on sustainability, the ability to survive and not take more than what we need. It's very difficult to see these large companies with deep pockets come in and push us around. A few years ago, there was an article published that discussed a Bitcoin mining company near Waco that essentially used our legal system, the laws that have been created by man, to use against them. They pre-purchase electricity at a discounted rate, and then when there's a surge, when there are lots of people relying on it to survive, they can sell it back at a profit. Obviously, if that can be commodified, then water can be nested. That being said, we are asking you to talk to your people in power. You have connections. We know you have connections. We want you to talk to those people that can make the decisions to stop this, because we don't want to have to turn into a water restriction. We don't have to rely on water restrictions. We want to be able to survive, because these companies, they work off the bottom line. And the bottom line tells you that profit can't be made with a system like this that gobbles up the water that it needs. Unless, of course, there's a way to get around paying for it all. And what we ask for you is to remember, when you talk to the people in power, we ask you to remember that we want seriously, and I say my door is always open. You want to come talk to me, I have an open door policy, and these commissioners, if they're your commissioner, please talk to them. You don't have to come to commissioners court. Make an appointment to come see it. Please.
Respectfully, sir, I would just like to let you know that one of the reasons I got up here later.
Come on up here, ma'am. I mean, you're being televised, so we know who you are.
There are so many people that wanted to come to this meeting, but it was held at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But they're local in this area, either ranch, they farm, they're dropping seeds. This is what people like when you're trying to get somewhere at 9 o'clock and you're feeding your cows and dairy goats and, you know, you're tending your own animals in your own farm, your ranch, whatever everyone has. I'm new to this area. It'll be 4 years in July. We stayed for 10 years to be able to buy a 25 acre and Scottsdale, that needs a lot of work. We're doing great. The thought of not being able to have water for my cows to drink water is frightening. And then I think about my neighbors who have been coming in for generations. And they are the most wonderful people. And they do things on kind of mix of regenerative. They're wonderful people. They need more water. This will affect everyone, including the poorest Medicaid recipient child in our public schools. They have to have water. What will we do without that? And I think that as these areas grow, growth is great if it's responsible growth. Nobody comes from a different area wanting to invest and build their lives and hand these down to generations to move to the area that looks like a wasteland, that has no water. You will not attract positive growth. You will attract negative growth. I just really ask y'all to please think about this very, very long and hard. It affects every single person. And again, there are so many people that have been in the hall and that wanted to come. I request that a meeting be held for you at a different time where it's not 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, and maybe somewhere where we can have parking availability just so you can see how many people are willing to take time out of their day in everyone's city. You know, so I just request that y'all consider that, making it open at a different time so that you can really see how many people are willing to come in during their busy schedules and just show their support for protecting our water in the area.
Ma'am, I'm going to get you to step over here and fill out the form because you're really the center here, so we want to make sure we capture your name. Okay, for the record. Thank you. I'll allow you a couple minutes. Come on.
This will be quick. Could you all tell us, you've heard our concerns. Can you tell us what you think you can do for us?
You're our voices. Yes.
Everything you, okay, I'm going to break through here. I'm going to respond. I'm not supposed to. Everything you said, we've all laughed. We don't know either. We have a lot of questions, man. I'm just telling you, we have a lot of questions ourselves. No, nothing has been brokered or dealt with any company. They just bought this land and they're showing up, and we listened to them at one point. That's all we've ever done. We haven't done anything. It's not even the very beginning of the process yet. There's a permit been gone, there's gone by a development company, nothing. None of these people have done anything yet.
They're 2 years in. They're planned. They're already
There's nothing that a permit officer is going to. They just bought this land. We have the same questions you have. We want to know.
We'll find out. That's y'all's job, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Can I make one suggestion?
I know. Hold on, Commissioner. We're going to limit it to this, and we have to go on. We have a lot of agenda. Come up with the podium, man.
Obviously, this isn't going to help any person in this county financially. Nothing. Because you're taking land off of the tax roll. So our taxes are going to have to keep going up.
Yep.
So I make a suggestion that we impose a data tax on these people. Tax every bite of data that comes in, tax every bite of data that goes out, make the data tax so high that none of these will want to come here after
Make them
That's
find
well
city
taken.
water.
Hold on, it's well taken, but our water is the biggest issue. And I'm concerned,
Well,
very concerned.
right, but we can't stop the one that is 2 years in. If we set a data cap so high that it makes it uncomfortable for the other ones, maybe we
We'll
can.
take that into account. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for showing up. We appreciate it. Watch the rest of the court.
Nice to meet you.
I was trying to get here, and I was like, I smell like cow. Cow and dog. It's refreshing. He needs to get that in his title.
You will go ahead, and this is in regards to the TxDOT San Antonio District presentation of 2027-2030 Rural Transportation Improvement Program, the rural tip. I serve the identified yourself.
My name is Clay Ritz. I'm the Deputy District Engineer for TxDOT for the San Antonio District. I know it has Yvonne listed, but Yvonne is here, Jill Rosen. She's the doer. She's going to put this all together and coordinate all these meetings for us. So I just want to thank you all for the opportunity this morning. This is something that we do every 2 years. Come out to the areas, kind of feedback, present kind of the proposed projects within the county or the city. And as hand over to Jed, area engineer, to kind of walk through the presentation on the process. A lot of this is getting feedback as well on what projects are needed, if there's anything that we're missing, kind of in the next 4 years. These projects are listed in the first 4 years are all funded, so they have real money, real dollars that are coming out there. So with that, I just want to touch real quickly on the folks right here. Of course, you already met Yvonne. Richard Dela Cruz is our Director of Transportation Planning and Development. He's the guy with the money, plans, oversees kind of development, design of all the projects. we have Matt Cordoza, he's our advanced planning office, the big picture projects. And then Brian Witherall, he's our environmental, he's also a Wilson County resident. He's here with a little bit less interest as well. And with that, you have not met Jeff Smith, he is our area engineer for Wilson County, and he'll walk through some of the again, thank you for your time.
You took Mr. Rock's place, correct?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Morning, Judge. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today on the rural tip. There is a presentation. I don't know. Okay.
Just let me know when you want.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And y'all have a copy, hard copy of everything about that. Yes, sir. Jennifer Kennedy. Good morning, all. All right, is that better? Good morning, all. We're here today to go over the projects to be included in the upcoming 2027 to 2030 Rural Transportation Improvement Program, which I refer to as the Rural TIP from here on out in Wilson County. We have the agenda on the presentation above us. As Blake mentioned, we're from San Antonio District, which covers 12 counties. All the roads under our district's care. We will also review base what is a rural tip and why it's important for you to be with us here today. We will explain how the projects are selected, go over funding, answer questions on where the money paid for these projects come from. And then finally, the opportunity to review projects for Wilson County or San Antonio District as included in the 2027 to 2030 program, and outline all the options here and comment on these projects and their numbers. Next up, presentations, obviously, we start off with safety. You may have seen our new safety campaign either on television or radio ads, the Drive Like a Texan campaign, kind, courteous, safe. Drive Like a Texan is all about saving lives. It's a reminder for everyone in Texas to treat each other with a little bit of kindness, respect, and neighborly spirit that we're bringing someone safe, especially on the road. By showing courtesy and care behind the wheel, same way as we would in person, we can make our roads safer for everybody. We won't need to worry about safety. Kindness is just as simple as treating others the way we want to be treated. Say thanks like somebody a small lady when you want to go over the traffic for a friendly nod. Courtesy isn't just about being polite in person. It's also about showing respect for letting others merge in when you're driving, giving plenty of space, and practicing patience on the road. All actions here save lives. And then finally, safety. The most important part of any journey is arriving safely. Not only do you keep yourself safe, but you also protect your driver, passenger, biker, pedestrian sharing the road. Moving on. Next slide. This is a map of the San Antonio District and the counties that we covered. San Antonio District covers all the counties shown in the map. The dashed blue line. Not all these counties are part of the rural tip. Corral, Guadalupe, Bexar County, and Haskell, shown here in light green, are considered urban counties and part of the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, also known as AMPO. The light green and hatched light green is proposed AMPO boundaries. The counties shown here in dark green are rural counties and are part of the Alamo Regional Rural Planning Organization, known as PARP. The rural tip for Gillespie County will be developed by Texas Austin District, while Karnes County will be developed by Texas Corpus Christi. Although Valley County shown here in gray is not part of our vote against part of the San Antonio District, therefore it will be included in the rules. So let's talk about the rural tip. The Rural Transportation Improvement Program is a list of local projects to be funded in the Texas District over the next 4 years. This means that all projects included in the list are expected to be underway within 4 years following its approval. These projects you can expect to go into this contract in the near future. It's multimodal, which means that it can include projects related to highways, bicycle and pedestrian facilities, transit services, and freight projects, as well as preliminary studies used to define these projects. The rural tip is meant to show regional agreement on the need and priority of the transportation project, so all parties involved can be sure that they are making the best investment for the community. It's also expected to be consistent with projects and objectives included in the regional long-range transportation plan to ensure that all agencies are working towards the
part of the statewide transportation improvement program, also known as STIP. And because programs rules are established by federal law, no project can receive federal funding unless it is included in the rural tip. It is important for you to participate because funding is secured by this process and is intended to address the community's most needs with the type of rural tip impacts you here in Wilson. By providing comments on the priority projects included, you are helping us to identify regional priorities. By reviewing the entire program in a single meeting, you are having regional impact, helping us to be more effective with your money, taxpayer money, and ensuring that we are investing where we should for our transportation infrastructure. So how are projects selected for the rural tip? Rural transportation organizations, metropolitan planning organizations, and local governments are responsible for selecting projects within their boundaries. Next up, the district office, which for us in San Antonio is responsible for selecting all projects related to the state transportation system and the national roadways. Interstate, state and U.S. highways, most importantly, this can also include farm market, ranch market rates, and the day. Projects you will review today should address local needs. It is our responsibility to provide you with the opportunity to provide input on which project should be advanced. We'll talk about funding, which is Mr. Della Cruz's specialty over there at performance. The rural tip functions as a budget list for the district. Therefore, it is fiscally concerned. Like the budget of a household, the rural tip has to be realistic about the amount of money available to cover all the needs that are included on it. Frequently, we identify more improvements than we have money spent. This means prioritizing the county to those items that are most necessary. We've discussed the list, or we will discuss the list. Where is money coming from? Funds can come from multiple sources, including the federal government through the Federal Highway and Transit Administration, the state through the Texas Unified Transportation Program funding categories, and finally local funding by providing matching funds to federal. So on the slide there, you see a diagram of where we are in the rural tip process, which is community input. The timeline above illustrates the rural tip process where we are now. Once comments have been collected and considered, San Antonio District will provide a revised rural tip for approval and integration into the statewide document. The statewide transportation improvement program, again called STIP, is an accumulation of all 25 districts' rural tips and 24 metropolitan planning organizations' tips, and includes additional statewide programs, for example, Texas Park Wildlife Program, federal land, travel projects, statewide infrastructure, statewide transit, etc. The timeline above shows where the rural tip process fits into this larger effort. Once the tip is approved by the federal government, everyone's progress on the tip. San Antonio District is holding a virtual public meeting for the 2027 to 2030 rural tip. You can visit the Texas Public Hearing webpage and look for your county and the area to review all projects included in the 2027 to 2030 rural tip. There's a QR code on the slide there including the presentation. You can view PDFs, project list, maps, and public meeting materials, or by clicking the interactive map. Zoom in, click on projects to learn more, add and drop pins to make comments about mobility and connectivity, maintenance and safety, bicycle, pedestrian, and transit projects in the interactive map. The next steps, now that you're familiar with the program, we would like to hear what you think. We would like your input. Please fill out a comment card, mail it back to us if you addressed it on the screen. That'll take the comment card to the district office. Or you can also email comments into the bundle website. That's the corner of the email address on the slide as well. You can also make comments on the interactive map. Comments must be postmarked or otherwise received by April 10th, 2026. Please make sure to send your comments before that date to be included in the plan. If after today you would like more information or any questions, please feel free to reach out or visit the district webpage for updates. Please remember, you can share the video and materials of this presentation if you wish to discuss this information with friends and family. Just remind them, please, about comments by April 10th. Now, we will get into Wilson County projects and local tip. They're also included in your handout first two projects that are included in fiscal year 2027 for the rural tip in Wilson County. The first one, probably the most interest, that is our expansion of US 87 from the Bear Wilson County line to Avenue 1346 in Vernon, which we will widen 4-lane undivided configuration US 87 listing to a 4-lane divided railway. Right now, the total estimated project cost is just under $70 million, and currently the left date is September 20th. That should be in construction by the 3-month delay, potentially by the end of 2026. Second project, and this is map ID number 2, so map ID is the interactive map. The second project is on FM 541 from US 181 Marshall Street, and that will be still good paved marking there to the paper. That has a left date of October 2026, and that's the current cost of $100,000. Then it goes to the final please, which I'm sure everyone can see, so I'll read through these locations. These are all still good pavement marking projects that are scheduled to let in fiscal year 2028, October 2027 specifically. These are still codes on Signal 321 from US 87 East to US 87 West. Those still codes on Business 87 from US 87 East to US 87 West. Still code on FM 1681, State Highway 123, County Road 448. Still code on FM 1681, County Road 448 to the Wilson County line. Still code on State Highway 97, 4/10 of a mile north of Woodlawn Drive to US 87. Still code on SA 123, FM 541 to the Wilson Orange County line. Still code on SA 123, Business 87, FM 541. Still code on FM 1347, SA 123, SA 119. Still code on FM 536, as goes to the Wilson County line, FM 2579. Still code on FM 1347 from SA 119, FM 538. Still code on FM 1347 from FM 541 to FM 123. Still code on FM 1303 from FM 2579 to FM 536. And finally, still code on FM 1347 from FM 538 to US 27. And then there's also a map. You probably should have taken the next slide. There's a map here. It shows all these projects mapped out. One of the last things to touch on is our Transportation Alternatives Program, the TA program. Takes up approximately every 2 years to open applications for the Transportation Alternatives Program. This program reimburses local governments to fight pedestrian plan projects. Safe Routes to School program. It was a program for little sidewalks in schools they've heard of in the past. It's now part of the TA program. The TA program can also fund bike and pedestrian network plans for local cities. This could then help with having documents to apply to future bike and pedestrian projects. There's a focus on local action included in this program. Next application call may possibly be in winter of 2027. Please follow our text about the TA program to stay updated. And one thing to highlight, in 2021, the city of Floresville was awarded the hiking bike trail and the Elfrida Round Trail. That was completed as part of our 2021 TA project. With that,
Do you mind a chance to read your remarks with me?
I do have something, sir.
Not necessarily a question. I know that Commissioner Trudeau and I have both approached Mr. Lockett in reference to the ongoing construction on Highway 123. Precinct 4, is constantly either on social media or directly contacting me about, is it going to get done? Why is it being done in stages? And try to explain the process. And of course, the contractors work. Somebody's good at dirt, somebody's good at blading, somebody's good at watering. And so it gets stretched out that way because you're trying to keep the contractors busy all the time. But I challenged Mr. Lockett. I go, you you live in the New Braunfels area? And he goes, yes. I go, okay. When you come to visit the Floresville office, you probably come the back road down, cut across. He goes, yes. I go, okay. The next time, leave at the same time, but come down Highway 46 in Guadalupe County and drive 123 to Stockdale and then go over to Floresville that way. And at the end of your day, don't leave early. Leave at the same time you normally would and take the same path, and you tell me if you're satisfied. Because it not only cuts off Wilson County, but all the counties that are south of us. Whenever we're trying to go shop, trying to get to medical appointments, trying to take and use those regions for services that we can't get locally, it's a big hindrance. Also, turning into Longhorn Ranches, we would very much like for the project to have a dedicated turn lane for safety's sake, because it is an issue. Anybody who's been doing EMS and fire or policing in this county has worked accidents there. And now that Mr. Lockwood is retired and you're on point, we'd love to visit with you.
Mr. Lockwood was actually looking into that when he retired. It didn't go anywhere.
I have to take a look and see where it was when he retired, coming down to Arizona.
County Road 435, yeah, on road. Many accidents there over the years.
I'll be happy to look into it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Item number 6. Did I say that right? Discuss and take action on requesting the use of the courthouse hall on March 18th of 2026 at 9 a.m. We have time to set up a break. I didn't know that. Not that
Yes, so I'm working right now in the ICD program, which for the International and Developmental Disabilities Department. And I am the community educator. And so we are wanting to celebrate the Awareness Month next month here with Care Athlete Partner Courthouse Lawn. This event will identify Awareness Month. We would like to bring together multiple agencies in that Pocatello area, so ACOM. We will also be having the food bank coming out and having a distribution. There could be an additional distribution for this one day event. They will have several other agencies that service this, so this will be like a resource there on top of the celebration. We'll have things such as like a cakewalk, some light music if y'all are in session on that day. We'll have water for the community that comes out. We'll have fun in general in person. In of course of the event. In front of you, you have a flyer of our department and what we do. And then in front, we also have the flyer that lists of all the locations that we're going to be having the event. Your site will be one of 5. So you will be on the 18th, will be event number 3 on the list. And the second flyer is what the flyer would look like for your event. And if you grant us the permission, I will also put your seal on the other opposite corner. And we're also asking if if Judge or one of the commissioners Commissioners would do a proclamation for us on this day.
Okay, so you submitted a proclamation packet.
Yes.
But it's not on the agenda, you read it. So you wanted us to do it at the next court on the 8th or 9th?
It was written in on the same.
Since the event is the 18th, it could be done at the next meeting. And keep a proclamation for the event. For the event.
So for it to be proper, I'll go ahead and make a note to put this on for the next agenda.
Okay.
And then you would come please, so we can read this and then we put it together. We have plenty of time to do it. I'll take care of it.
Which date would that be?
March 9th. Yeah, because it's kind of vague in your request, when you said we're requesting for the proclamation that is, yeah, it doesn't say you want to support it.
Oh,
So I'll submit the form.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner, do you have any questions before I call for a vote? We didn't have a motion, did we? We haven't had, I haven't called. I'll call for it now.
I'll make a motion to approve the use of the courthouse lawn on March 18, 2026 from 9 a.m. to 1, including time for assessment breakdown for the Reno Real Community Services IDD awareness event.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Cordova. Any other questions regarding agenda item number 6? If none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes. Thank you. And I'll have that ready for you here. You come to the next court?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 7, Kayla Prado, Bird Assistant County Auditor Grants, discuss and take action on amended resolution to update designees for Operation Lone Star OLS 4385204 and Violent Crimes Against Women Act VAWA 3015410 for 2025-2026 grant period.
We're asking to amend that.
And
We're adding you.
okay, all right.
They require a name that can't be in position.
Position. Well, for Docs of Governor, kind of name, the title name. For the other grants, we're trying to use it just to the title.
It's pretty straightforward. I'll entertain a motion for agenda item number 7.
Make a motion that we amend the resolution and update the designees for Operation Lone Star OS 4385204 and Violent Crimes Against Women Act VAWA 3015410 for the 2025-2026 grant period to reflect the names of Judge Hank Whitman, Wilson County Judge, and Caleb Prado, Third Assistant County Auditor.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Akins, second by Commissioner Keeney. Do I have any other discussion regarding this agenda item? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 8, we have Jerry Martin, Precinct, Commissioner Precinct 1, discuss take action on setting a public hearing regarding changes to the Wilson County tax abatement policy March 9th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
Yeah, so we have been approached by another solar provider who has since our policy expired, I believe. It may cross paths, I want to do this ahead of time. There was a couple of things that we learned from when Commissioner Aiken had the project. And so I'm working with Ms. Huron to finalize some changes. We'll have that available later this week. And so it'll be ready to be posted. So I'd like to make a motion to set a public hearing to discuss the changes to the Wilson County tax abatement policy on March 9th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Turtle. Is there any other discussion regarding agenda item number 8? Here now, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye. All those against, nay. Agenda item number 9, rules set out for permitting and development director, 9A non-standard class variances, a 9A1, County Road 342, 1474, Precinct 3, Davenport. Discuss and take action.
Yes, good morning. Mr. Davenport was in attendance at a review committee. He proposes to that the 1 acre that his home is currently on to make permanent residence on the adjacent property on the back, so they propose this 1 acre split of their current property. This was given a favorable recommendation by our review committee, and they did show availability for their utilities.
It's not in a flooded zone.
And it's not in private subdivision.
I'll make a motion that we accept the non-standard plat variance for County Road 342, address 1474. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Turtle, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Is there any other discussion regarding 9A1? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay.
Abstain.
Abstaining. Motion passes. Agenda item number 9B, subdivision Pioneer Ridge, 9B2, review and approve final plat, discuss and take action.
So this was reviewed by our review committee twice. It did pass on to the Commissioner's Court for another review, just because it's pending either approval with conditions, or disapproval. The engineer is here to speak on his behalf if you have any questions. We did have a couple questions concerning the drainage of one of their drainage systems close to the county road. Our engineers are here as well. I believe they have some issues with it.
Do we get the plat?
Yes. Sure. We have it on
Bring it up here so we can see it.
I am Dr. Chicco from KPI. Generally, we don't disagree with the drainage design of this project. They provided some additional outlet designs that slow the runoff down as it's leaving the site. All the calculations work out. The only thing in question on our end is because of the road and some of the concerns discharging into the road. We have some downstream impact analysis concerns. Typically, you go, you follow the runoff a little further downstream to make sure you're not affecting anything else. There's supposed to be a culvert further down the road. They had talked about regrading the channel to help with some of the runoff from crossing that road. So I think that's really what we're looking for. We want to make sure that that culvert won't be affected, and if some of the runoff is crossing over the road.
To be clear, you're talking about the road within the project and not County Road 342.
No, we're talking about County Road 342.
You're talking about 342. Okay.
That's where there's a detention pond that's out right at the road there. Again, they provided some additional drainage features like a level spreader, which slows down the runoff from the site. And they are reducing flows, generally for the existing conditions, whether that flow is slowed down or released at an equal rate. Because of the road there, we're trying to prevent cars from crossing the road. It already was in the existing condition, so they did provide some calculations showing that they're not making the situation worse, but if they are redirecting the runoff towards that downstream culvert, we just want to make sure that that culvert is going to be able to accept the flows. There's also a couple of driveways, I think, that they'll have to pass to get to that culvert, so it's going to affect what's crossing those driveways. We want to make sure about that before we approve this.
So what's the recommendation of the board?
Initially, we were thinking we could conditionally approve it, but I think given this downstream impact analysis, we just need to be sure before we can recommend approval. But, again, generally, they are reducing flows, which would typically mean, okay, you're not going to affect anything downstream, but because it's being redirected downstream of that, now no longer just crossing the road like it was, because it's trying to prevent the runoff from crossing the road. I think in most low water crossings across the county, they're trying to prevent those low water crossings from existing now, right? So by diverting it to not cross the road, it could potentially create other issues. So that's what we want to be sure about.
Mr. Gurley, please comment.
Well, we just, we're trying to make sure that the water coming out of this detention pond in this new subdivision does not come straight out of the pond and wash across the county road and create more problems for the county. I'm asking that they make sure that when that water comes off of that property, that it goes in the garbage as it should and down to the nearest culvert and across under the road at the culvert. And we're just asking to make sure that it's got to go under a couple of driveways before it gets to the culvert under the county road, that all that works as it should.
And then they are upgrading the channel downstream of the detention pond. So they're outletting, they're already reducing flows, and they're redirecting all of that new flow through a new channel. But because of that, it's no longer crossing the road like it was, and it could cause other issues. And take whatever the driveway is. So the culvert's probably okay to accept flows, but that's just something else you're not too sure about.
Chester, your county engineer. The biggest concern is during construction. And after, I guess, we have to see. We want to make sure that things are constructed per the plans. We want stuff on the plans first of all, and it addresses what our concerns are. So we don't have that downstream impact. The second thing is we want to make sure we have vegetation. That's been a big issue, I think, develop policy issues of this. So we want to make sure that it is established and not just weeds.
So, Frank, are those things stipulations we're going to tell the developer, or how do we, I mean, it sounds like we want to, what's on the agenda is to approve this, but there's conditions, is that correct?
We have expressed these requests to the engineer of record. We haven't talked to the developer. We've talked to the engineer of record. I think these issues need to be addressed before I would be able to vote to approve.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing. So, we should just not take any action on this before they get resolved.
We do have their engineer.
Okay, come on.
So originally with, I'm Mason with Intrepid. So originally with our design, we didn't have any improvements to the channel downstream. We just had the detention pond going into the county right of way. And then at the Development Review Committee meeting. That's when the water going into the county right-of-way was brought up. And so we did the downstream improvements on the county road based on that. So originally our design was to just keep the water flowing as is. Where the detention pond outflow is at the location where the pond outflow currently is. So it wouldn't be changing the location of the outflow, anything like that. It would be reducing the water flows. This was just a request that was made to us to bring the water basically down the county road right away instead of as it is.
Yeah, so just kind of like we discussed in the development meeting as well, is before we make the motion, we definitely need these plans because they're not here. But we definitely need these plans set in stone before we go whatever next is. You're able to explain this. It's important to us. So we want to make sure it flows right. We want to make sure we're not tearing up county roads. We're already on a limited budget, so this is something we definitely need to capture.
So are we, let's take no action until that's taken care of?
Yes. Well, the plat that we have that was just now provided a copy of is not signed, and it also does not reflect the improvements that are on whatever was provided to the court. So this plat is not executable today anyway. So
I'll talk with folks, see how it goes. All right, Commissioner, we do have to take action on I-B2.
I'll make a motion that we take no action until we get the plat improvements listed on the plat as we discussed.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, but because of our timeline, we either ask for a denial, a conditional approval, or approval at this time. Just because of the timeline that we're falling in right now. So if we do or we decide to deny it, it'll just be a matter of addressing the deficiencies and bringing it back. So the formal proceedings would either be one of those three actions. It's really up to the commissioners. In my opinion, I would say a denial at this time until we address the deficiencies and bring it back to the court.
I think that's the proper motion on the floor right now, correct?
no.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead and
I
rescind it.
rescind my motion, and I will make a motion to deny the plat until proper corrections are made to the plat.
Motion made by Commissioner Curto, second by Commissioner Green. Any other discussion regarding 9B2?
I would like to ask. So, as Doug stated, that the drainage was, as was existing, would we have to go downstream and do the county road right-of-way improvements, or would it be with the level spreader, just leaving it as is, coming off the site? We do improvements to make sure the water gets to where it needs to be, not just dumping out across the county road. If we show discuss the facts. So I just wanted clarification because of what Doug stated. I just wanted clarification on that. The improvements downstream and make sure that the culverts will handle the water flow.
Any other discussion?
Is that good, Doug? That's what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Any other discussion, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, no. Ayes have it, motion passes. We move to 9 discuss and take action on acceptance of a performance bond of $402,050.
On the letter credit, because of the previous denial on the plan, I asked this to be tabled to when we bring it back to our assignment,
What's your request again? What,
table the acceptance of the letter of credit so that we can bring it back at the same time that we bring the plat back.
table is got to come back to the next week. It's got to come back.
Okay.
Give us, and I agree with you, Commissioner, I give us some leeway in case something happens and there's a glitch. So, Commissioner, for your agreement, we'll take no action on 9.3 unless there's. Agenda item number 10, call of honor, fire marshal progress. Okay. See it. Nothing to look at, sorry. Okay. Agenda item number 11, we have our sheriff, Jim Stewart, sheriff's office, progress.
Okay, for the month of January, starting off the new year, we had a total of 1,479 calls, 505 of them reportable, 974 non-reportable calls. Had 59 livestock calls in the month of January, 47 animal complaints, 12 mental health calls, and 4 burn calls. Security checks, 55 for the month of January, patrol by 726. Traffic and code enforcement, 375 actions. Out of that, we wrote 54 citations, 14 misdemeanors, and no burn ban citations, 7 animal complaint citations, and no livestock citations. Had a total of 376 warnings, 1 misdemeanor warning, 1 livestock warning, 1 animal complaint. CID for the month of January, closed 14 cases, took 67 new cases, a total of 82 pending right now at the end of January. January, we sent 1 to juvenile probation, 13 cases to the county attorney's office, and 30 to the district attorney's office. Had 16 cases pending further investigation, basically not enough information to investigate unless something comes up in the future. 8 of them were out of our jurisdiction, so they were transferred to where they need to be. And we did 21 sex offender verifications in the month of January. CID, criminal interdiction unit ORS, month of January, 21 felony arrests, 8 misdemeanor arrests, 128 traffic stops, assisted patrol of 8 calls. Month of January, they had 3 days they were out of operations out of county in Jim Wells County, I believe, in Alice. And they handed 8 undocumented illegal immigrants over the ice on board patrol in the month of January. They recovered 142.48 grams of meth, 0.043 grams of ounces of marijuana, and 14.6 ounces of cheap cigar. For the jail and court, month of January, average daily housing was 115. We took in 93, which averages about 3 a day that they intake. We're currently housing 7 for the U.S. Marshal's Office for a total of $19,170. 3 for Gonzales County, total of $5,580. Of course, in January, we had a camp of 18 reportable calls, 41 non-reportable. They did 23 transports in county, 26 out of county transports. They did 1 man belt transport, and they made 6 arrests.
Good question, Sheriff. Agenda item number 12 is Don Blasio, Gwinnett County Tax Assessor Collector. County Tax Assessor Collector must be here today. I'll give you a few minutes to look at that attachment. We'll move on to agenda item number 13. Is Christina Woods, County Treasurer, to discuss take action on the County Treasurer's financial.
Good morning. As you will see, there was not a report submitted due to other pressing items and deadlines to be met. I worked on those. I can safely say that the report that the checking accounts, other checking accounts have been reconciled. What I did not finish is due time, which is checking all the funds, making sure all those numbers dive, everything like that. And I will not submit a report to you all without doing that. So, like before, I will go ahead and put it on the agenda for March, the first Commissioner's Court from March to then report January of 2026. But again, there was other items to fill and finish, and I'm not going to report without the whole report being finished.
So since there's no financial report,
There's nothing to approve, and I just say that report will be given the first Commissioner's Court in March. I don't know if we did last month, a whole different situation, but I'm hoping that's the last of it. I'll have more time.
okay.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 14 is a modified human resource specialist presentation payroll and personnel changes.
Good morning. Jason Roy was hired as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department, making $22.68 per hour, or $49,543.12 annually, effective February 10th. Carlos Playhouse resigned from his position as a part-time road hand for Precinct 2, effective February 11th. Courtney Aguilar was terminated from her position as a patrol deputy for the Sheriff's Department, effective February 10th. And Justin Lopez resigned from his position as a patrol deputy for the Sheriff's Department, effective February 9th.
Any questions, please? Agenda item number 15 is Christina Waters, interim county auditor, discuss and take action on the bid.
The bill total for this court is $2,428,842.51. We have two large items on here. One of them is going to be for the district court for Wilson County portion. That's under the county and district court department. That amount is $868,159.33. And then the other large ticket item on here is going to be the draw form for the arena, which is under the outside $1,400. That is first of all for us $1,189,496.32.
I noticed you split out the attorneys.
Different route.
Yeah, so
So that's how they sent it to us in their budget. So it's the DA portion, and then there's the coordinators, and then the help.
what are we going to do about the Toshiba bill for emergency management?
So since it's coming out of line item 4370, that line item will be over budget at the end of the year with what is expended. So my recommendation would be we could do a budget amendment for the line item so then bottom total, budget wouldn't change, that I would have to work with Cindy and see if we can move another line item in our budget to make up that difference. So they would have to go through commissioner support for
Mason has been in contact with Sheila, they want to have their
So,
indication they have no problem, they're trying to figure out how they're going to do the reimbursement.
That's not what she told me.
so Jason, Cindy, and Amanda all acknowledged the Shiva reps, and they are not willing to
Okay.
give us the credit for this 3 months for October through January.
But Mr. Rollins,
What's their late charge?
But there's going to be late fees because the bills have not been paid.
we're committed to that already with that contract, correct?
As far as Toshiba is concerned, yes, because the contract was signed with them back in September or October, and then they reduced it beginning October, right?
No,
Or no, November?
no, it was reduced whenever we approved it in January.
Okay, and they are not willing to reimburse the reduced amount to the original contract, right? Well, there was an issue as to whether or not the original contract had been ratified by the court. I mean, you know, the court can decide to just pay whatever needs to be done and make the adjustments as recommended, or say, well, the contract was never ratified by the court, pay what we owe, send it back, and then we're done with that. But as far as the issue is concerned, they have a contract that I believe they're going to hold account to.
Is it valid since it was not signed by an authorized person?
We can argue that it was not valid because it was not ratified. But we have been using it, so
We didn't use it that first 3 months.
the survey.
They didn't even move into the bill until December. So for September, and October, and November, it sat there unused, wrapped up.
Our report wants to address this. I mean, I haven't been in touch with Toshiba at all, so our office needs to get involved to address that or discuss. It is a long-term contract, more than a year, right? It's 5 years.
I don't have the contract, I'm still waiting, I requested it from them, so the transition, I'm assuming for the penalty.
I'm certain it's 5 years. Yeah, it was 5 years. I'm pretty sure it was 60-month contract. Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point, let's let Ms. Huron get in touch with him and maybe,
I will. I mean, the contract has to provide, the court has to fund it every year for the next 5 years. We have to be able to get out of the contract. Can't fund the county for the future years. So, if the court's considering getting out of it, if they don't give us a reimbursement, or I can get the situation back to the court, or however you want us to address it.
I hope it will be successful. Well, I mean, you know, the thing is, yes, yes. I mean, I get it. They're in business. They want their late charges and all the other stuff. Many people, you know, many people argue their late charges and late fees and, hey, this isn't what you told me, or blah, 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 whatever. We have a little bit of a contract. So let's let experts, y'all, county attorney office, look at it and get us, see what kind of resolution you can come up with. That's my recommendation.
I'll entertain a motion. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Could you check and see that the KCI bill was split up properly? I thought I saw that there was precinct 1, 2, and 3 and charges in there, and I didn't see charges to precinct 1 and precinct 3 on the KCI.
precinct
What
two,
is that?
That was to the show barn units underneath the show barn machine. Yeah, that was for them. Yeah, that was going to that. It wasn't actually precinct.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It was kind of hard to understand it. I think they got split out for the
They're just with your own eye.
Their building is very well understood.
Yeah, I did go through the bill and I did verify and just added up all of the precinct slash what she had entered.
I'll entertain a motion to take action on the county bill.
I'll make a motion to approve all the bills except department and at the West County Attorney's Office review.
We need to do a bill now, don't we?
Well, we talked about it before, but I don't know if you want her to do the math right quick.
He's about $300.
No, it's more than that, it's 1,500 and something.
As of right now,
You talking about the total bill, Commissioner, or the
Total
one? The one, for the
Total
total
bill.
bill. Okay.
It is $1,574. $1,500.74.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. Okay.
Zero. You had a motion, yes, sir?
Yeah, I have a motion by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Thurlow.
All right, now I have a question for Ms. Turner. The first 3 months are in dispute, but the rest of the time period in the invoice is not.
Well, it could be in dispute because the time after was only an amendment to the original one to lower the monthly price. So the amendment was approved by the court, but it's really contingent on the original contract being approved or not. So it's, depending on what I can find, we may be responsible for the lower price for the last couple of months or since the deduction. That was actually approved by the court, but it's the amendment that was approved, not necessarily the original contract.
And did they agree to the amended price at any point?
They did, and the court did.
Okay, and so that's why my question is there is that we owe the amended price for the time that is not in question, which is the first 3 months, in my mind, unless you tell me.
Yes, the only thing is that the original contract that was not approved. So the amendment is kind of putting the cart, it's kind of paying for the cart, but you're not paying for the horse yet.
And I'll yield to your guidance. The only thing is that obviously we've brought this up in multiple courts and we've discussed it ad nauseum in trying to get it worked out. And on the other side, you have a vendor that trusted Wilson County, and you know they're not going to take and verify whether or not we did it in a manner that allows it to happen. And now that we've agreed to terms on it after the fact, I just want to make sure that we're not going to have this number keep mounting because they're going to go, we want our machine back and we're going to file against you.
That's correct, and that is a concern because they are not aware as to what was approved or what was not. They haven't signed the contract. So I can get the details, come back to the court, but by the next meeting in March, there will probably be additional information. I can negotiate something else with them, but there will be the court's decision is going to be either we approve this contract, we find the money, and we pay what we owe, back amount, everything, and keep going forward, or we just put a halt on it and we take whatever consequences are as a result of just canceling the contract altogether, which is returning the machine, paying for whatever and that could include March payment if you've already started.
Yeah, well, that bill included March, which I don't know why we've got a bill. They're billing every 3 months. They should complete their service. I mean, isn't that our normal thing? Is that the service is completed before we entertain an invoice?
It's a monthly, it appears 15 to the 15th. So,
We'll have an approval by the 9th.
so probably, yes, by then that would include this payment, so that's fine.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. We don't have that line point that we put in the last go. We can't address that now, so we have to discuss it. So we'll make sure that it's on the agenda. I understand what's the difference. Motion taken by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Cordova. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes, we are adjourned.
We all need to sign this, but she's gonna have to go
It's
correct
51 AM.